Hey everyone, welcome to Reddit Readout. Today we are checking out I Don't Work Here Lady. Story 1. Shoehorn Central. Hey all, I can finally contribute to this sub. It's more on the wholesome side, smiley face. I was in a shoe shop on my lunch break getting some new boots. I stooped down to pick up a couple of shoe boxes and this lovely old lady pokes her head round the corner and asks, "Do you have any shoehorns?" Initially, I was like way, but then it clicked and I chuckled and said, "I don't work here, sorry, but I'll try and find someone who does." She laughed and was very apologetic and followed me to the counter to find a shoehorn. Funniest part is I was just in regular ass clothes. Story 2. Got ahead of myself today. I used to get confused for an employee quite a bit because I would wear my keys on a lanyard around my neck. Once I realized that was the problem, I started putting my keys in my pocket. However, the weather was pretty hot today, so I didn't wear a jacket when I went shopping and my clothes didn't have pockets, joys of wearing women's clothing, so I put my keys around my neck again. I was browsing a clothing store when a woman tapped my shoulder and pointed to a dress hanging on a rack on the wall and said something too softly for me to hear. I immediately assumed she confused me for an employee because of my keys, and was asking me the price or something. So I said, "I'm sorry, I don't work here." She looked confused and said no. I apologized again and walked off. I glanced back and saw her struggling to reach the dress, then realized she was actually asking me to get the dress off the rack for her since I'm tall. I felt extremely stupid, went back, apologized, and took the dress off the rack for her. Was quite embarrassing. I don't think she still understood what happened. Moral of the story, don't assume. Story 3. Elderly woman mistakes me for bank employee. This one is a little sad. I was at a bank applying for a loan. While I was waiting for my loan processor to come back from making copies, an elderly woman, I would guess mid-80s, walks into the cubicle. She tells me her husband died and she had just received the death certificate. She needs help to remove him from the account. I had to tell her I didn't work for the bank and was a customer as well. I got up and we went and found the receptionist. When the receptionist heard what she needed to do, he took her to an office. I was glad I could get her to someone that could start to help her. I know losing a loved one is hard enough without all the stress of all the paperwork that follows. Story 4. Why? I work as an intern in a court. There is another government agency next door, and if we have post for them, us interns will bring it over. Yesterday, while exiting the agency building, I was approached by a man asking me something related to the agency. I explained, "Sorry, I don't work here." He replied, "Why?" We had a good laugh at the court because I was really not prepared for this question. Story 5. I did the ultimate sin and I must repent for it. I am so sorry to say. I did what everyone here talks about. It happened so fast. I didn't mean to. I work as a vendor, stocking other stores' shelves with my company's product at grocery stores. Man came to me, asking where there's aluminum plates. Didn't know that was a thing, but I told him I didn't work there. As if on K, a woman walked past the aisle in a button-up white shirt tucked into black pants with a name badge on her side. In that split moment I looked at the man and said, "Ask her, think she's a mana." That's when I saw her hand basket and realized she's shopping, she doesn't work there. Man ran off, calling down the women and demanding where the plates were. I am so sorry, I don't work here community. I tried to stop him but he was going quick. I feel so guilty and needed to repent my sin. Story 6. Alright, this is irritating. I wear my keys around my neck so I don't lose them, so you know where this is going. I was wearing a pastel green turtleneck with high-waisted skinny jeans at Academy Sports, where uniform is a bright blue polo. So, I don't exactly look like I work at a sporting goods store. Twice in 2 minutes, clueless middle-aged women floated up to me with the, "Do you know where I would find?" The first one got a very perplexed look and a clear "I don't work here." Lady 1, but you have the badge. Points at my lanyard. Me, these are my keys. In hindsight I wish I had said ooh, I guess I do work here then. Aisle 420. Lady 2 pokes her head around the corner moments later and pulls the same thing, but this time she gets irritated. OP. Me, really? Just because of my keys? Takes off lanyard. You people need to leave me alone. Lady 2 stands there staring at me with her little dog. Me, you know, some people are so stupid. Lady 2, you need to lose the attitude. Me, you need to find someone in a blue polo. I know from this sub lanyards are like beacons for these people, but holy crap, do I get irritated when people look affronted by the fact that I don't work there, or I won't tack on a sorry. The people harassing me while I am shopping should be sorry, but today they seem to expect me to be sorry for confusing them. I can only ever see myself being apologetic if I were wearing khakis or the uniform color. Honest mistake. Had to vent because it's one thing for people to make an error, it's another thing for Karens to act entitled to my time and energy just because I am wearing a lanyard. The moment I say I don't work here, don't point your veina claw at my lanyard, just walk away. Edit. Shout out to the Karen who commented saying I am the entitled one, then immediately blocked me so I can't see or reply. Seems like you're super confident in your take. Story 7. Asked for help in home bargains when wearing Tesco uniform. I was really bored on my break, having eaten my lunch with half an hour to go. I decided to have a walk around the shops. As I walked into home bargains, a lady stopped me. Excuse me, would you be able to help me find the cotton pads? I pointed towards my badge and replied I actually work in Tesco, but I'd be happy to help you find someone who does work here. Needless to say, she was very apologetic and the lady who did work there was a bit rude when she asked. Thought this was funny. I think people see someone in uniform and don't quite put two and two together. Story 8. Didn't get the memo. I have literally just ended a phone call that I really didn't expect. There I was sitting reading a book when my mobile phone rang. I was somewhat surprised to see the caller name that popped up but answered and started the conversation with "Hello, I didn't expect to hear from you," and was met with a very curt response, "You're on speaker and I've got $client name here with me. I need an update from you on $project." I was a bit surprised by this and said, "Sorry, I can't help you with that. Have you asked $colleague?" I was about to carry on when I was interrupted with, "Don't you understand? The client is here and I need an update now. This is not acceptable." I let him rant on for a few more sentences and then said, "Can I just stop you there? Not only will I not be giving you an update, I can't give you an update. Not only am I not working on that project, I don't work for the company anymore. You were copied in on my resignation email." It was so satisfying to put the phone down on this guy. I actually left the company back in 2022. Story 9. The epic supermarket showdown, my battle with a tenacious Karen. Hey, fellow redditors of r/IDontWorkHereLady. Brace yourselves because I've got a tale to share that will make your jaws drop. Get ready for a dramatic showdown in the supermarket that will leave you equal parts entertained and exasperated. Hold on to your shopping carts, folks. So, picture this, I'm innocently going about my grocery shopping, searching for my favorite cereal, when a wild Karen appears. Now, we all know what a Karen is, right? Well, this one was the epitome of Karen-ness. Spotting me from across the aisle, she zeroed in on me like a heat-seeking missile, with a look of entitlement and disdain that could curdle milk. Despite my lack of any resemblance to the store's uniform, she decided I was her personal target for a tirade of complaints and demands. Without any introduction or pleasantries, she launches into a barrage of questions and complaints about the store's organization, product availability, and God knows what else. I tried explaining that I'm just another shopper, but Karen wasn't having any of it. She was on a mission, and I was her unfortunate target. As we navigated through the aisles, I became her unwilling accomplice, listening to her rants and futilely attempting to reason with her. Her demands grew more outrageous by the minute, From insisting I summon the manager to demanding that I personally check the stockroom for hidden items. It was a master class in entitlement, and I was caught right in the middle of it. Shoppers nearby couldn't help but gawk at the spectacle unfolding before them. Eyes widened, and some even discreetly recorded the madness on their phones, probably to share on r/public freakout later. The employees, who had likely encountered their fair share of Karens, watched with a mixture of sympathy and amusement. Finally, we reached the checkout counter, where Karen's facade crumbled, if only for a moment. She realized her mistake and, in true Karen fashion, attempted to save face by muttering a half-hearted apology. But the damage was done, and the cashier and I exchanged knowing glances, silently acknowledging the insanity that had just transpired. As I left the store, a mix of relief and bewilderment washed over me. I couldn't help but chuckle at the absurdity of the situation and the sheer audacity of Karen's entitlement. It was an unforgettable experience that I couldn't wait to share with my fellow r/IDontWorkHereLady warriors. So, dear members of this subreddit, I turn to you now. Have you ever found yourself caught in the crosshairs of a Karen's wrath? Share your tales of bizarre encounters and unimaginable entitlement in the Story 10. This one is charming. Shopping last night, heading up the aisle of bottled juice. There was a tiny 80ish woman at the far end, clearly eyeing me up for height. I'm only 5 feet 6 inches, but she was more like 4 feet 5 inches. She asked me for help reaching juice. I got what I could, while we discussed cranberry juice, but I couldn't reach more than 1 bottle. We agreed, someone taller will come along, and I left the aisle. Tiny woman followed me out, and scanned the place like military ops. As I headed away, passing an unsuspecting tall guy, I heard her behind me, "Here comes one now." Story 11. Once a bartender always a bartender. As per the title. Worked in various hospitality roles, from busboy to management, but the best fun was always bartending. I haven't got the patience for it anymore, and have been out of the game for some 15 years. But, whenever I'm out, I always take the empties back to the bar, and unless the service is terrible, I always tip. It's one of the few things I still carry cash for. So a few weeks ago I was in a bar I have gone to for years, just not too often these days. A few staff and management know me, and it's a place where they just wear clean casual gear to work, no set uniform. It's my round, and I lift 3 empty glasses and an empty bottle of our table, and take them up to the bar. The manager, an old workmate of mine from years ago, who's helping the bartender nods the knowing another round. Nod, I nod back. And then put of nowhere I get the Karen tap on the shoulder. "Excuse me, where is the ladies' room? I can never help myself here." I've always been a cheeky bastard, and my first response is one of 2 options. "Over there, just follow your nose," or, "Sorry, no idea, I've never used the ladies' room." Is that supposed to be funny? That's no way for staff to speak to a customer. Hey look, I was just joking. I'm not staff, by the way. It's over there next to the... What do you mean you're not staff? Why are you clearing tables then? I always bring the empties back. Once a bartender, always a bartender. If you're a bartender you should be making drinks, not making stupid jokes. Look, I'm sorry. Seems I've confused you. The toilets are just over there and I don't work here. What is your problem? Get me the manager now. Cue my manager friend behind the bar, as he props the drinks on the bar. Hey Celtic cynic, this round's on me. Now, ma'am, you were asking for a manager. Edit, a day after posting, there's a social justice warrior on the loose in the... That's all for today. Please don't forget to like and subscribe.